Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the What's He On About podcast. I'm your host, Charlie, and we're going to be talking about sports from cricket to football and any other sports worth waffling about. So grab yourself a beer, whether that's alcohol free or alcohol, and grab yourself a snack, whether it's vegan, vegetarian, whatever you want, and chime in with me as you ask yourself, what is he on about? So this is episode one. We're going to be talking about the upcoming England versus West Indies series, limited overs. And I'm honestly asking myself, does anyone care about this? Well, I'm here to tell you today about why maybe you should care and why maybe you shouldn't care. Now, England's limited overs form at the minute is looking ropey. I think, we've come off the back of a Australian home series, losing the ODI series by, quite considerable amounts at points and drawing the T20 at home. And you ask yourself, is England as good anymore? And the answer is no. I mean, we've won ODI World Cup, we've won T20 World Cup, and it's drowning out now. You're thinking to yourself, I'm not sure if this is where England's at the minute anymore. But you come off the back of the last World Cup and you look at England, some of their results, you're thinking, God, a good win against Oman, I tell you. It's a great win against Namibia. What a side they are, you know. And the only other wins coming against the US of A and the West Indies. Four top quality teams that England have, brushed aside. Cheers for coming, lads. And then when it comes up against sides such as Australia, India, South Africa, we got rolled, let's be honest. And I'm looking at this side now. I'll come on to the England squad in a minute, and I'm thinking, unfortunately, it's not where we're at anymore. Unfortunately. But, you take a look at those England results and you're thinking, no, this is not the play. West Indies, where have they been? I don't remember them doing too well in the World Cup, and their recent form against Sri Lanka has been, how do I put this? Poor. It's been poor, I'll be honest. They got rolled for 89 in the second T20. And I'm looking at their side and I'm thinking, not many people I know in there. I'll be honest. Hetmeyer's returning for this series though, whoever he is. But no, he's a good quality player. And yeah, the West Indies, they struggled against Sri Lanka. I'll be honest, as anyone would, to be fair. Sri Lanka's a tough place to go. You got some mystery spinners coming on. One lad bowled 3 overs, 3 for 9. Not bad figures. I think he was a left arm offie, so maybe that's where England can come in as they've introduced a few new young spinners that we'll be diving into in a moment's time. But you look at the West Indies games and they played 3 ODIs and failed to score above 200 in any of them in ODIs. That's 50 overs. They failed to bat more than 30 odd overs. And I don't know if that's just Sri Lankan conditions or they're just a horrendous batting outfit. Who knows? But not many individual performances in there. And, West Indies are no longer the side you're worried about. And when you look at the West Indies squad, I don't think an England fan has ever really cared, really, about who's in that squad. I think West Indies are a side where it's classic England. You rock up and you think, well, who are they really going to have? We'll roll them, we'll batter them. And then we often end up getting rolled ourselves. So maybe England should be worrying about the West Indies team. Maybe they shouldn't. Now, the England squad. I've got my reservations about this. I've got my views. We'll talk about a few of the new lads coming in. We've got Jaffa Chahan. I hope I've said his first name right because he's a leg spinner and he's called Jaffa. Does it get any better than that, ladies and gentlemen? I don't think so. So he must be bowling Jaffers, let's be honest. He's a Yorkshire leg spinner. He's had a couple of years in the T20 setup. He's been brought into the England side, probably at there's probably some lads out there who'd be pretty annoyed that this young leggy has been brought in. But no worries, that's what England's all about now. You've got one lad who's been batting for 10 years in the county championship, getting piles of runs, and we go for a young lad who's 19 and looks pretty decent. That's just who we are at the minute. I'm not sure I like it. I'm not sure there's people out there who like it, but as we'll come on to see, I think Brendan McCullum's just having a bit of a laugh. I'll be honest. But back to Jaffa Jahan, who's bowling Jaffas. He played against Durham, got his career best of 5 for 14, and that's including 3 wickets and 4 balls. And I had a little look at his bowling, and I thought, often these young lads get their wickets by blokes absolutely bopping them into next week, and then they plink one to mid wicket. That's kind of how these lads get their wickets. But no, Jaffa Jahan's bowling Jaffas. I'm not even joking. He's bowling googlies, a couple of top quality googly wickets there. Talk about through the gate, someone playing for the leggy and it comes back through the gate. And that's what you look for in a young leg spinner. You're not looking for this lad who's getting bopped around, but you're looking for someone who's got a bit about him in terms of the variation, who can hit a spot consistently. And with all young leggies, you're going to get these lads who, they bowl loads of drag downs. They're inconsistent. But this lad looks decent. I'll be honest. Jaffa Chahan, one to look out for. Good googlies, etc. Now, another maiden call up for Dan Mousley. Dan Mousley. Yeah, I think this is another example of McCullum having a laugh, I'll be honest. Don't get me wrong, he seems like a top quality player, played well for England under 19s in 2020, top scorer for England in that tournament. And I'm struggling to look past with Dan Mosley. I'm struggling to look past the fact that McCullum's seen him bowl a 75-mile-an-hour Yorker off 3 paces. I'm looking at the selection committee right now, and they're looking at this lad, Dan Mosley. He's a decent batter, and they're having a discussion. They're going, yeah, he could get in the England side. Lads, he's just bowled off 3 paces and bowled 75 miles an hour. Let's get him in. And there's these selectors, they're thinking, oh, that'd be pretty fun to watch. That'd be pretty cool. Let's get him in. Let's get him in the T20 side. Let's test him out for Bazball. It's beggars belief. I mean, he's shown some great batting. Don't get me wrong. He's shown he can be a decent bowler, but I'm struggling to see past the fact that this is a bit of a joke now. And I think also, even to top that off, Brendan McCullum's seen Michael Pepper playing well. He's all right. And then he's realised, it's clicked, that we could be having Salt and Pepper at the top of the order. And McCullum goes, this is too good an opportunity to miss it. Too good an opportunity. I want to see Salt and Pepper waltzing their way out to the crease together, as they are best in combination, as we all know. But yeah, finally about the England squad, John Turner. I just hope he's not running the drinks again for a second consecutive series. I think he's a great bowler. People liken him to Graham McGrath, whatever you fancy. Time to get him some game time. You got 8 games to play. Get JT on the pitch. Now, a bit more about the selection, and this time we're going to cover more about Bazball and what it's done to the T20 format. I mean, Brendan McCullum, let's be honest, he hasn't had long to instill his approach to the T20. However, all I'm seeing is him putting Salt and Pepper at the top of the order and getting a young lad to bowl off 3 paces and bowl as fast as he can. Anyway, we've got no Joss Butler. He's injured. All right. That's a big blow. I'm looking at that side and I'm thinking, jeepers, what is this side on about now? And the T20 team is becoming a warm up. Let's be honest, it's becoming a warm up for Bazball. Jofra Archer, yes, he's a great T20 player, but at the end of the day, Brendan McCullum wants him in the Test team. Let's give him a run out in T20. Let's try and get him back to fitness. That's what it feels like. And A lot of these things about the T20 bars, the T20 setup, international T20 is why was it made? You ask yourself, why was it made? Well, T20 was made to get the best players in the world, smashing the biggest sixes you've ever seen, knocking hundreds off 30 rocks. This is what you're looking for. The best players in the world. And I'm all for prioritising the test team. But what T20 and ODI should not be used for is a warm up to see if they can play Bazball. Because that's what it is at the minute. That is what it is. And I think what annoys me is you've got setups like England Lions now, and you think, all right, what is that for? What is the England Lions for? And it just annoys me the fact that you've got this T20 competition, which is now, let's be honest, being less and less cared about. And you've got the equal opportunity to give these young lads a run out. If you think they're playing well, if you think they've got something about them, chuck them in the England Lions squad. Take them away to Pakistan for a few 4 days, few 5 days. That's how you see if they can play the test cricket you want them to see. T20 and ODI should not be the way that you bring in young lads to try and see if they can bop it. All right. So that's what annoys me about the test setup. You've got the T20 setup. This is not warm up. Think about it. A few years ago, let's say 10 years ago, England West Indies T20 series, you're thinking, blimey, here we go. There's going to be fireworks. There's going to be humongous sixes. We're going to see switch hits. We're going to see Bill Shans. We're going to see everything. Now, who cares? You know, you've got hardly any lads in the England setup who you put in their first team. Maybe Liam Livingston, maybe Jofra Archer, maybe Adil Rashid. And you ask yourself, you're sort of watching this, why would I want to watch this? Why? You know, and I just think it's baffling that we've entered a point now where England West Indies T20 is not something to look forward to. I feel especially bad for Phil Salt. I think Phil Salt's an incredible player, incredible. But the way I look at Phil Salt is he's always played in a sort of second team England, an England second team. And you're sort of there thinking, Phil Salt, he's played well, he's been good. But you're always thinking in your mind, he wouldn't get into the first team though. You know? Yes, he's got a good 100 there against West Indies in the West Indies, fair play. But it's a second team. He wouldn't get into the first team. You know, we've seen him play well for a first team England since, but this is the issue. People aren't going to watch this T20 series because people just see it and think, oh, it's a second team. Oh, it's not many good players. Despite the fact that these are all brilliant players, no one's going to watch this because they think, oh, where's Stokes? Where's Butler? You know, where are these lads? Where's Jason Roy? Who are the lads that have been absolutely hitting puppies for the last few years? You know, so you really do ask yourself, what is the point of this series and why should I watch it? So, in overview, what we've seen here is that this series is it's going to be exciting, but you just don't know what West Indies team will rock up. You don't know. And I think West Indies will be looking at this team thinking, gee, we could absolutely roll these guys. You know, there's no one in that team. So in terms of predictions, I think England will show some promise, but in all likelihood, I think they're going to get absolutely rolled. I think they're going to lose both series. And I think West Indies will come with confidence and they'll see England set up and they'll think we could batter these guys. So yeah, thanks for listening. Hopefully we'll try and bring this out on a weekly basis or so. And remember just to ask yourself, what is he on about? Cheers.